Killer, man. Well, I appreciate the time. Want to dig into the Dark Chapel album, talk some BLS, and get some thoughts from you on some other topics. But let's start with the Dark Chapel stuff, man. Killer debut album out now, and I'm kind of curious when the seeds started forming for this, because I know you had put out some solo instrumental albums before, but now doing the singing and writing songs. Was this kind of born out of Zakk's busy schedule and having the free time on your hands?
This was always something I had in my mind to do. You know, when I was doing the instrumental albums, I was just in a guitar playing mode, and I wasn't really. I mean, I was singing at that time, but I was still just like I would say, just developing. I was writing songs and writing demos, but you know, I did those two albums with Shrapnel with Mike Varney, which was like just focused on guitar playing, and I think on either the first one or the second one, I was asking Mike like, "Hey, I have a couple of these songs that I'm singing on." He's like, let's just keep it all, you know, playing for these. But yeah, so it was just something I was working on, and then when I got all these songs kind of put together, I was like, felt like it was time to, you know, put them all out as an album, which is how kind of Spirit in the Glass came together. But having a band like this put together was always a plan in my mind.
And I'm sure getting more confident singing too was a big part of it.
Yeah, just you know, I never really thought of myself as a singer. I was just like, I have a demo, let me just put some vocals on it, and then it just kind of turned into that, you know. And it was always something I was working on because as a musician, it's something that I had enjoyed just doing and working on. So yeah.
Well, I love the singing voice, and like you had said, putting together a band. Curious about that. Did you like audition the band guys, or were they all friends of yours in the Vegas area? Talk to me about the band coming together.
Yeah, so some of the guys that played on the album were friends of mine that you know, musicians in Vegas that I've always jammed with. The drummer that played on the majority of Spirit in the Glass, he had played on both my instrumental albums. And I had some other friends play that finished the rest of the album. And then when I was putting the band together to get on the road, that's where the lineup had come together. And now it's two different guys since then. We have a new drummer and a new guitar player. But yeah, all those guys are just kind of, you know, asking guys in Vegas who might know of players, and that's how they all came together.
Curious, you talk about the history and making this and always writing the songs and kind of always being in your back of your mind to do this. I'm curious, like how old is the oldest song on the record, and like how new is the newest song on the record? How long had you been working on this?
Yeah, so I'll use it, it wasn't COVID, but I'll use that as a time frame because I had some of these songs like before that kind of whole time. So whenever that was, 6 years ago, like Dead Weight was, I've had that song for a long time. Corpse Flower I probably had for a lot longer than that.
Oh, wow.
I don't know exactly. Some of those songs are old or like the newest songs, the four new ones that were written like as the album was coming together were Hollow Smile, Glass Heart, Bullet in Our Chamber, and All That Remains. Those were like four of the newest ones that were tacked on to ones that I had kind of uh, pre-recorded, ready to go in a sense.
It's funny you mentioned "Dead Weight." One of the songs I love on the album, and I'm usually not like a ballad guy. I'm like the guy that always likes the hard, loud, aggressive stuff. But Weight" really like it stuck with me, man. That's a great tune. And I was curious if you did write most of the songs on piano or acoustic guitar before translating it to electric guitar for most of them.
Um, all the heavy songs are all written sitting down with an electric and coming up, you know, finding the riff, and then I end writing with Pro Tools, whatever, and kind of arranging the song that way. But that's all done on an electric. Any of the songs that are piano and acoustic, for me at least, originate there. They start on the piano. Dead Weight started on piano, and like Dark Waters is an acoustic song that started on acoustic. Um, Now that we're talking about time frame of songs, Dark Waters they probably have had for a long time, maybe 8, 10 years before that. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, it's a great record, and I'm excited to hear all these songs live. Going to be at the YouTube Theater on March 13th, doing double duty, man. But at least you're the smart one. At least you got the gap in the middle there during Zakk Sabbath, and imagine what 5, 6 songs in the Dark Chapel set for you in the opening slot.
Yeah, we got 30 minutes, so we'll be the Doc Shop will be the first one on, and then Zach Sabbath will play, and then we'll all convene again and play Black Label. So yeah, we're all psyched, and yeah, YouTube Theater coming up in LA.
Like I said, you're the smart one because you got the break in between rather than Zakk and having to do like double duty back to back. But I'm curious, man, what are you gonna do during the Zakk Sabbath set? Are you gonna eat a sandwich, take a shower? Are you gonna keep playing? What's that time frame like for you? What are you doing during that little break?
I'm not sure. I'm sure I'll get into the swing of it once we start rolling. But I'd imagine I go hang out at Merch for a little bit after the Dark Chapel set, and then hang out, and then get back there to play Black Label.
Well, it's going to be I'm sure you're going to sweat more than you've ever sweat on stage, just having to do the both sets like that. Oh, lost you there.
Yeah, reconnecting. There we go.
All right, there we go. Speaking of Black Label,
Yep.
looking forward to that album coming out and be out after the tour comes through. Engines of Demolition, and speaking of Zakk's busy schedule with Pantera and everything, you kind of had to write this album in chunks, right? At certain periods of time when he was around, come and write. Talk to me about making that album.
Yeah. So Zakk was working on it. I'm sure in his times that he was home, maybe he was writing stuff on the road. But once they get all the songs kind of arranged, Zakk writing them, he just sends them out to me. I'm in Vegas, so he sends them out, and here's the spot for solo, or here's the spot we're going to harmonize or double, or here's a blank spot, just write your solo to it. So that's kind of how we work in that sense, as far as Zakk and I playing parts. Zakk just sends it to me all written, and then I add mine from there and send it back to him, and they continue their process.
It's funny that the old way of making records where it was like go into a studio, knock it out for 6, 8 weeks or whatever, and get it all done then. And then COVID taught us you can do it remotely and all that. And I imagine there's kind of pros and cons to doing it remotely like that and having so much time with it. Usually in the old schedule, you're kind of forced, like you only have X amount of time, you go and record it and that's it and it's done. Where when you have all the time in the world, I wonder like when do you stop fiddling with it, when do you stop messing with it, when do you kind of leave it alone, at what point?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's always some kind of deadline as far as like, oh, we want to get it done by this date so we can, start planning it and getting it out. But yeah, I mean, I think like on Doom Crew, I just basically had them for a week, the songs, and I just knocked out all the parts and sent them back. And same for Engines of Demolition. I would just pretty much as I got them, I would maybe take a day or two with them and then send it right back. So they were always done pretty quick.
Ah, and I think the one I'm most excited to hear, which we haven't heard yet, is Ozzy's song, and curious if you had any thoughts on that one that you could tell us.
It's beautiful. I won't give too much away, but yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm super, super looking forward to hearing Zakk's tribute to Ozzy, obviously, and curious if you have sort of a baby or a favorite on the album.
Engines of Demolition. I mean, I'm psyched in the whole album. It's killer. So looking forward to playing some of these live.
Looking forward to hearing them all live. And dude, I appreciate all the time. Last couple of things I wanted to hit you with. Prior to being in Black Label, you were in the band in Jani Lane's band, Jani Lane of Warrant, and wanted to kind of learn about that time and especially to keep his memory alive now that he's gone. But how long did you play with him, and what was that like?
Yeah, so I started playing with Jani when I was 16, so I was in like 11th grade or something. And I just saw an ad on MySpace. Jani was looking for a guitar player, and I was like, that's all I thought about doing. Like if I was in school and kids were thinking about like I'm gonna play football when I get older, I'm gonna be a doctor when I get older, whatever. I just thought like I'm gonna play guitar, and so that was all it was on my brain. So I saw this ad. I loved, like 70s and 80s guitar playing was like that's my that's my home base. That's in my heart. You know what I mean? So I was heavily into all that at that time. So when I saw Jani was looking for a guitar player, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I responded to this ad on MySpace, and they ended up getting back to me. We went back and forth, and my dad brought me out to an audition in LA. I met them in a rehearsal studio in North Hollywood, and Jani played drums and sang like a lot of the Warrant songs. I can't think. We played Uncle Tom's Cabin. We might have played Rainmaker. I'm not sure, but we played a handful of his of his Warren songs, and then started touring with him. So I played for about 2 years after that. So from like 16 to 18, and yeah, it was an amazing time, and yeah, it was incredible.
The way I was trying to remember, people that we've lost is music, right? That's all our common bond. And I'm always curious for a guy like Jamie and you, was there a certain band or artist or song that you really bonded with him over, or maybe the exact opposite, something that you were really into that he didn't like, or vice versa?
I'm not sure. I mean, I do. I'm not really sure because I was so new and young that I was very you know, my eyes were open, my ears were open, and I was there just kind of, um, I was a lot younger than everybody. So I'm not really sure. I remember what was being listened to in the van as we were driving a lot. We covered some Cheap Trick, which I know Jani loves Cheap Trick. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure if I can really pinpoint any songs. I mean, uh, any of that music was stuff that I loved. So yeah.
How about a story about Janie, like off stage, something to show his kind of personality, his sense of humor? Any story you can think of to kind of show what kind of guy he was?
I mean, he was an amazing guy, and he's from Ohio, so sometimes we would hub in Ohio and like stay near where he was from, and we would go out and do some shows and come back, and then go out and do some shows and come back. And when he was dialed in, he was making lasagna, and we were watching football, and he would drive a lot because he loved to drive. So yeah, we had a great time.
Interesting. Lasagna was his dish, huh?
Yeah, yep. I particularly remember him making lasagna. Yep.
Wow. I didn't know he was a paisan.
Yeah.
Dude, I appreciate all the time. Last thing I wanted to hit you with, I need to get your opinion on this. We are an old school radio station. We do a feature called Mandatory Metallica. And I've been having this little Metallica debate. Want to see where you come down on this. And it's real simple, man. It's Ride the Lightning versus Master of Puppets. If you had to pick one out of those two albums, which one would it be?
Oh man, I love Master of Puppets. I love the song Master of Puppets, so I'm gonna go with that one. I love all Metallica, and when I was like learning how to play guitar and I was getting taken guitar lessons when I was a kid, the Black Album was on repeat, on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. And I'm from Boston, so I remember like those radio stations, WAAF, 94 HJY, some of those radio stations in Boston, like they played Metallica all the time. They had such a killer playlist. So Metallica was a huge influence on me from the early days of learning how to play guitar. So yeah, I love them.
Crazy that the Black Album is now 35 years old this year with over 20 million albums sold.
Yep, incredible.
But I'm glad you picked Master in the debate. Me and my buddy are duking that one out, and I feel Master just the songs were better, sounded a whole lot better. Production was better on it, and no skips on that album.
Yeah, absolutely. And just Master of Puppets in itself is just that song to me is like perfect. I love it. Takes me on a ride. I love the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of my favorite Metallica tunes ever. It's the whole journey, the whole spectrum, especially that like
Yep.
dual solo in the middle, which they didn't do a lot of like harmony solos.
Yeah. No, the whole thing is amazing, and it breaks down clean, and yeah, just it's great,
I was gonna
undeniably.
I was gonna ask you to pick a song for Mandatory Metallica, but I'm guessing Master of Puppets would be your choice.
Oh man, there's so many good ones, but yeah, we can go with Master of Puppets.
If you got something else
Um,
in mind, I could rock something else.
oh, Through the Never was I loved that
Oh,
song. Um, yeah, that was a killer one. Um, yeah, one of those two. I mean, we could go on. I could pick a million songs, but yeah, yeah,
beautiful, man. Thank you so much for the time. Excited to see the Dark Chapel set and the BLS set, and maybe I'll get to say hi to you at the LA show.
yeah. Looking forward to all of it, man. I'll see you at the YouTube theater.
See you there, man. Thanks. Bye bye.
Appreciate you. Thank you, man. Bye.